And my name is Darrell Bennett, comeback swinging. I came to talk today against that surreptitious, subtle, it's a subtle, satanic spirit of hopelessness. It's a spirit. It's told you can't do it, you can't be it. I feel it. I'm feeling it everywhere that's around me as I'm talking to people, as I'm feeling it even sometimes within my own life. This feeling that your past is too much for you, and you can't do it, and you'll never get out of it, and everything you ever struggle with, you always keep struggling with it, and you're not good enough, and you're not smart enough, and you're not this enough. I came to speak against that. I came to speak until demons start trembling. I came to speak long enough until you crawl back up under your bed and start reaching for dreams that you unlocked under there and hopes that you gave up on. I came to talk until you walk away from here knowing that you've been called with purpose, you've been called with destiny, and you've been called to shape the world and change the world, and you've been called by the purpose of God and the mind of God, with the will of God and the design of God, to be like God in the image of God and the likeness of God. I came to talk until you know that this ain't some just motivation or inspiration to make you feel better, but it is the real core of who you are. You've been set apart, you've been sanctified, you've been created beautifully and wonderfully, and everything that ever was and is to come. That God that created all that created you, and he put you here for a purpose and a plan. I came to talk until you know that the voice in your head that told you that you're not enough, the voice that told you you can't succeed, the voice that told you that well, that happened and nobody's going to overlook that. I came to talk long enough till you start recognizing that that is a satanic voice. It's a demonic voice. It is an evil, contrary spirit. It's a spirit that came to steal. It's a spirit that came to kill. It's a spirit that came to destroy. I came to talk against all that. I didn't even, to be honest with you, I got on here, I don't even necessarily have a story in my mind. I got a lot of stuff in my heart. I'm sure it'll come out of me eventually. But I just jumped on here because I've been on this thing recently, and I'm noticing it's a spirit of hopelessness. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm one of those people that I'm not the sharpest knife in the toolkit. I'll be the first one to say that. I'm really not. But when I get something, I get it. And this morning I was having a conversation with someone, and I realized and recognizing what they were saying. And this person talking about they felt like their life was over, and they thought they wanted to kill themselves. I've been there. This is what this gentleman said. I'm only here this morning talking to y'all today. These were his words, because I had decided I was going to kill myself last night because of everything that happened. But I felt, let me at least wait until this morning so I could get on here and talk about it, and then I'm going to do it. And I recognize it's a hopeless spirit. And by the time we all finished talking, he walked off and said, I've never felt better. I feel like I can take on the day. I feel like this problem isn't bigger than me. And I was thinking as I listened to him, I said, first of all, I've been there. I know what it's like to want to take your life. I know what it's like to feel like, and you know what, this just ain't worth it no more. I've tried and I can't do it. I know what it's like to feel like shame, embarrassment, guilt, whatever word you want to use has overcome you. I know what it's like to look at your life and say, how the hell did this happen? I know what I planned, but how did this turn out? But as I listened to him and I saw literally this cloud of heaviness just lift up off of him, as I'm watching him, I thought to myself, it's a hopeless spirit. It's a spirit. It's a reason why you felt that way. It's a spirit. It's a spirit that seeks to tell you never gonna make. Because he said it. He said it. I figured I was gonna kill myself because this problem that I've been struggling with for so long, I realized I'm probably never gonna come out of it. Well, who told you that? Yeah. See, we all have rehearsed a story that is not true. See, the devil is a master storyteller. I know you think you can tell a good story. I like to fancy myself as thinking I can tell a good story. But you want to know who can really tell a good story? The enemy. The enemy will tell you a story that's so good. Oh God, you don't even realize that that's his story and not yours. But you told it and you regurgitated and you heard it so many times that you don't even recognize that that ain't your story. But because you thought it was your story, you spoke the story. And the story for him was, the problem that I've been dealing with is so big I can't come from up under it. That was the story. And that story led to an action. See, in sales very clearly we're taught that a sale, quite simply, is a story that leads to a desired action. That's really all it is. Story, desired action. The enemy is trying to sell you a lie. So the story is that you're not enough. The story is that you can't overcome that. The story is that look at COVID and it destroyed everybody else's business. How you think yours is going to make out? Look at everybody else's marriage and theirs is crumbled. How you think yours is going to make it out? Look at other people's kids and look at how your kids are dealing with you. They're never going to get over it. That's the story. The desired action is to say, I guess I got to give up. I guess I can't make it. I guess I'll just give in. I guess this Jesus stuff don't work and this Christ stuff is a bunch of lies and I guess that I really am nobody. And so though the story leads to the desired action, the enemy has come to steal, kill, and to destroy you. I need you to know this. He was trying to do it to me. I know he's doing it to you. Eh? You want to know the stuff that he said to me? If I told you to have one here, you would cut me off. There's some stuff I won't even repeat that he would speak to me and say, oh, yeah, that's going to happen to you. And I came on here before and I talked about a spirit of fear that had just kind of gripped me. I didn't even know where the spirit came from. It was so befuddling. You know what I mean? I didn't even know what I was scared of. See, it's one thing to know what you're scared of. You know, I'll be first to say I'm a little scared of rats. I don't like mice. I'm cool with it. I'm a little scared of rats, and I'm not. Snakes kind of scare me a little bit. Those are the two things that's kind of like my thing. So it's one thing to know what I'm scared of, but it was a spirit of fear. I didn't even know where it was coming from. A spirit of anxiety, of heaviness. And this was this year. This was in the past couple months, and I came to recognize. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. The enemy is seeking to steal, kill, and to destroy what God wants to do in my life. I came here to tell you today, you're more than what you thought you are. The enemy is fighting you because of what you have on the inside of you. Oh, my God. I need you to get this. The enemy is fighting because he knows what God put on the inside of you. There's a treasure. There's a treasure that you have. I know you don't recognize it. I know you don't recognize it because the way you talk. But there's a treasure on the inside of you. I know people may not have ever told you that. And I don't care what your parents may have said. And I don't care what a wayward teacher said. But there's a treasure in you. And the enemy sees it. The enemy can't touch the treasure. He can't get to the, he can't get to the treasure. So what he seeks to do is get to your mind and screw you up and have you thinking all kinds of stuff and telling you all kinds of stories. And you started regurgitating the stories. The scripture says that when Adam got whatever fruit he got from Eve, and Eve had eaten the fruit, and they had both fallen, whatever. And God comes and is looking for them, and they said, "Well, we hid because we were naked." And the voice of God said, "But who told you you were naked?" See, that's what we got to get to first. Before we even get to the issue, we've got to get to the voice that told you what they told you. See, who told you you couldn't be it? Who told you that your dreams were too big and that you could never achieve it? When I work with people and I'm working with them on their dreams and I'm working with them on building businesses, right now we're doing a series of seminars partnered with the University of Cape Town out in Africa. Of course, they're virtual, and we're doing a series of seminars, and I'm bringing them back to what did you believe you could do at 10 years old? See, when you were 7 and you had dreams, there was always a period. There's a period you had dreams, and I've talked to people who say, "Well, I never had dreams." The devil is a liar. You may not remember it because so much of life has happened, but you had dreams. And my question is, what were you when you were who you believed you could be to change the world? Before you started listening to other people's stories, who told you you couldn't do it because nobody in your family had done it? Who told you that? Who told you that, well, it's COVID and it's a bad year and, everybody's going under, so it can't work? Who told you that? Who told you the story that has caused you to lose hope? Who told you that story? See, I can't even speak to the story until I speak to the voice. It's a voice that seeks, just like I have a voice, and I know God has given me a powerful voice. There is a voice that's trying to tell you in your head, even while I'm talking, he's lying. I know it's what he's saying. That's what the voice is saying. The voice is saying, yeah, well, it worked for him, and that's not going to work for you. Oh, yeah, that's great motivation, but when you shut off the computer or you cut down your phone or he signs off, then what are you going to do? It's a lying voice. So the first thing I need you to start questioning is, what voice is telling me the story? Who told you that it's not going to work? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who told you that you're black and you're in America and nobody's going to really want to invest in your business. And y'all know I've come on here and I've talked about racism and systematic stuff and all this other. But at the end of the day, I know a name that's bigger than racism. I know a name that's bigger than a Democratic Party or Republican Party. I know a name that's bigger than anybody that's in the White House. I know a name that sits above all that. And that name called you with purpose. Perhaps the name called you with purpose to bring down the system we're speaking against. Perhaps that name has called you to be a voice of justice in the wilderness, to cry aloud. But who told you can't do it? Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things. I'm going to tell you something about Darrell. Darrell believes in the power of Darrell. Yeah. I believe in Christ, but I also believe in me. Yeah. I can do all things through Christ. See, it's not enough for me to say that God can do it if I don't believe I can. Yeah, I believe I can do it. Yeah, I believe I can do it. Yeah, I believe I can break some chains. I don't care that my father didn't do it and his father didn't do it and his father didn't do it. I'm not concerned about that. I understand where I came from. I understand where I was born. But I believe that I can. I believe that there's a certain amount of power that I've been imbued with. Do you believe in you? Or have you given up to this subtle pessimism that just said, well, it is what it is. If it's God's will to be, it'll just happen in my life. What do you have that you ain't using? Yeah. Remember when Moses was on the rock and he's standing betwixt and between the people, and behind them was Pharaoh's army, and in front of them was the Red Sea, and Moses begins to cry out because he said, I don't know what to do. You called me, God, to deliver this people, but it looks like you just brought me to bring them to destruction. It's a sea in front of me and an army behind me. And God said, why are you crying? What's in your hand? He realized it was a stick in his hand. God said, stop crying to me and use what I gave you. Oh my God. I came to talk to somebody today to rile you out of this sense of this lull. The enemy's tried to put you in this lull that, if it's going to happen, it's just going to happen. You got to make some stuff happen. What's in your hand? We got to do some gift assessments. What gifts and talents and resources and skill do you have? What do you have that you were born with? What do you have that you know you can? I can work that thing. What do you know that God has put on the inside of you that you don't need nobody to give you a job? You can create your own opportunity from it. What's in your hand? See, a hopeless spirit seeks to keep you in a state of inaction, feeling like you're a pawn of everything that's going around. It's circumstances that did it, and it's the winds and the who's in the White House. No. I will succeed. What's in your hand? Yeah, I think it's lovely that people get on my Facebook and say you have a great gift for eloquence. That's nice. I appreciate that. But what's your gift? God gave you something too. God gave you something that you dismissed and you minimized and you hid it and you haven't done it, or you use it on the side a little bit. But what do you have that God gave you that's going to shake the world? They came and they were looking for Paul, and they were looking at, I forget where they went. I think it was in Berea, the people from Thessalonica came looking for Paul and his entourage over there in Berea. I don't even know if I'm saying the words right. It's in the book of Acts. And the scripture says that they came and said, these are they that turned the world upside down. They didn't even know them by name. They just said, these are the ones that turned the world upside down. They're going from place to place using the gifts that God gave them, and they shifted everything. Do you know you have something that will turn the world upside down? It's not just Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos who got it. They're using it. But you have something that God has birthed in you. Where is it? Is it hidden? What happens, Langston Hughes wrote, to a dream deferred? Does it boil over and rot? Does it explode? Does it fester? Does it boil? What happens to the dream deferred? What happened to your dreams? That's what I came on here to ask you. The enemy wants to tell you a story that you never had them, or that when you had them, they were too big anyway. The devil is a liar. There was something that God put in you so early and so young, and it was incubated in your heart. And you'd be a daggone fool to let it go. God is calling you back to the place of vision. You are enough. He's going to put the people in your path to get it done. No, you can't do it by yourself. Nobody can do anything by themselves that's worth anything. But God's going to put the people in your path so you can get it done. But what you doing with it? Is there a plan that you have in place? It'll work if you work it. But it's a hopeless spirit. I'm telling you, it's all over this country. I see it. I'm here in New York City. It's a hopeless spirit that's just come down all over this city. We've seen poverty before. I grew up in Baltimore. Poverty's not new to me. It's a hopeless spirit, though. It's a spirit that says it's not enough and I just can't do it. It's a spirit I've seen descend all over this place. I've seen it. I watch the way people talk. It's a hopeless spirit. Even as the election starts to happen. And that's good. Vote for who you're going to vote for. And that's great. And we hope that there's some, progressive change that happens there. But it's a spirit that's speaking. Well, it don't matter who you vote for. It don't matter what the government is. Things are still going to be bad. The devil is a liar. I don't believe that it's just from the government that change can come. Things can change. Things can be better. But it's a hopeless spirit. And that spirit is seeking to keep you from being what God called you to be. And if you came on here this morning to listen to me, God is obviously pricking your heart to know that there's something more for you. I want to find something real quick. I want to read something. As I'm finding this, I feel strongly about this because it hurts my heart when I see untapped potential. And I think all of us have some level of it. All of us will have some level of untapped potential. The question is, how much of it? Will you die with the music in you? I've seen it happen so often. I said it on the live yesterday. When I'm working with 20-year-olds, 20 to 30, it's almost easier than when I'm working with older people, coaching or teaching or whatever, because the younger people still believe that they can change the world. People hit like 27, and now they have believed the lies that the world told them. Look, don't get me wrong. I've heard the lies too. For some reason or another, that it's not going to work, and you can't do it, and you can't be. The devil is a liar. I came to speak specifically against that spirit. It's a hopeless spirit. It's a demonic spirit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the spirit wants to keep you down. Not just depressed in the sense of I'm sad. See, there's no difference between sad and depressed. You can be sad and not be depressed. See, when you're sad, that's something that's fleeting. Hey, I watched a movie and I got sad. But a spirit of depression is a state of isolation. It's a state that says, I'm not going to move, I'm not going to do, I'm not going to. You know how it is. If you like me, when you get depressed, you don't even want to get out of bed. I don't know, maybe you don't get it that bad. When I get depressed, I don't even want to move. I don't even want to eat. Okay, when I get depressed, I don't even want to reach over to my phone to open it up to see what's going on Instagram. It's a depressive spirit. It's trying to hold you back. And I've come to speak. The devil is a liar. I want to pull this up for you as soon as I can find it. It talks about, oh, yes, here we are. I'm in Genesis chapter 11, verse number 31. Let me set the stage. Everybody talks about Abraham. And God gave to Abraham. And God told Abraham to get out from where he was. And God delivered. I got you. I got you. But let me give you another context of this. God did tell Abraham to do what Abraham did. God had also told Abraham, I'm going to bless you and all nations of the world through you. Yes, yes, and yes. But let's take it back because there's always a backstory. I want to tell you about Abram's father. I want to talk to you about Abraham's father for a quick second. Genesis 11, verse number 31, it says, and Terah took Abram his son. Terah, that's the father of Abram. And Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son. So his son and his grandson, and Sarah, his daughter-in-law. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to the land of Canaan. And they, listen to me here. And they came to Haran and they settled there. And that's where he died. He was going to a place, but it tells us he settled in Haran. He was going from here to there, but he settled in Haran. I need you to hear me on this. There are some who contend that Abram was not the first person that God gave the promise to, that actually God told the father, I will bless you. But because it's interesting that he would take this journey to leave his family, to leave his custom, to leave his land. We always say that it was Abram that had the courage to do that. It was his father really that started the journey. But the father, was going from point A and he was seeking to go. It tells you where he's seeking to go, but it says instead he settled in the middle of the journey to Haran. This is what I want to ask you. Where have you settled? He died where he settled. My God. Oh my God. I'm going to talk this thing today. He died where he settled. Where have you settled? Was it at 16? When people said, well, there's no way you're going to get into college, so you might as well stop. Was it at 21? Maybe you finished college and you realized, well, I got too much student debt. Was it when you got your first marriage and it didn't work out the way you wanted? Was it when you had your first kid and you realized it wasn't as easy as I thought? Where have you settled? The writer says, Terah settled there. I think it's interesting that the very next verse talks about his death. We don't know anything else about him but that he settled and that he died. That will not be your story. See, the enemy wants to make your story. He had a promise, he settled and he died. She had a gift, she didn't use it, but she died. That's the, somebody once told me, somebody said, you want to know the saddest person in the Bible? I said, well, who is it? They said Methuselah. But I said, well, Methuselah, what do you mean? They said he's the oldest man that ever lived. Yeah, they said, but think about what they wrote about him, that he begat sons and daughters. If you lived for 1,000 years and the only thing that the writer can say about you is you had kids, that probably was a sad life. I didn't think of it that way. Where have you settled? And I understand people that say, well, my purpose is to be a parent. I get that. That's part of your purpose. But God birthed a dream in you before you ever had a child. Listen to me. Listen to me. Don't believe that you were just here for your children. There's something in you. What about when you were their age and you were playing make pretend? And God was speaking in your heart. You didn't know it was God. Where did those dreams go? And I came to speak against every spirit of hopelessness that told you it's not going to happen. The devil is a liar. The scripture says, chapter 11 of Genesis, verse number 31, he settled in Haran. He was supposed to get all the way to the promise, but he stopped there. And he settled. The enemy, listen to me, listen at me. The enemy wants to make you settle. That's what he wants. Y'all know I used to be an attorney. Y'all know I still do some legal advisement every now and again on the side for people. Y'all know that, whenever there's a big lawsuit, the first thing that people try to go for is the settlement. Yeah, they want you to settle. Because both parties understand that there is peace. They think there's peace in the settlement, but what there is there's less content. See, sometimes people would rather take the easier way out than fight for what they're worth, for what's due to them. And so one side will say to the other side, we'll let it go, we'll settle. And you should always know the settlement is never as good as what it would be if you fought that thing out. That's what the enemy wants to do. He's giving you a settlement offer. Okay, I know God gave you these gifts and these dreams and these resources and these hopes, but as long as you just focus on a parent and you just give all that other stuff up and you just settle here, I kind of leave you a little bit alone. As long as you just keep working that job, and that's a nice job, but you give up on the business that God gave you, and you give up on the dream you had to change the world with that idea. I won't bother you so much. It's the settlement. And so you sat in the place. I'm not talking to you as if I haven't been there. I've settled. Let me keep it real. I've settled. I've settled for a life that's less than what God has for me. I know that for myself. Settling isn't just about not being ambitious professionally. It could be settling in a lifestyle. It could be settling in sin. It could be settling in something that's less for you than I think everybody in some place has settled. The difference is I determined I'm not going to be like Haran in the Bible. I won't die there. Oh, no. I settled, and now I got my stuff back up, and I'm ready to keep moving. I wrote the book, Come Back Swinging. People say, well, I thought the book was behind me. Obviously, it's not. They said, why'd you write the book? Because I wanted people to know you got to keep it moving. You want to know one of the biggest keys to my success is that I keep moving. You can't hold me down but for so long. Yeah, I'm going to keep moving. As long as there's a blip on my monitor, you better not count me out. Yeah, that's right. That's right. As long as I have a breath, I still got something left. Yeah. I'm that one. I'm the one that says you will never not. You remember when you were a kid and that little toy, it was like a floater thing. You would hit it and it would bounce back. You would hit it, and no matter how many times you hit it, that thing would pop back at you. And depending on how hard you hit the thing, if you didn't move back, that toy would come and pop you and smack you upside the head. That's me. That's what I want you to be. I'm not here to tell you you won't fall. The scripture says that a righteous man will fall 7 times. You're going to fall. You're going to mess up and mistake and make mistakes and look up and say, well, I settled here and I messed up here and I settled for less than what I could have here and I gave up on my dream there. And I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm talking about where you are now. I'm here to encourage, motivate, and inspire you. Now it's time to get back up. The pity party is over. It's done. It's done with. It's over with. Some people I'm talking to, they're still crying over COVID. It's done. It's a new normal. Some businesses are never coming back. Let's call it what it is. Now it's time to shift. I get it. Oh, but I put all my money in that. I understand that. Yes, now it's time to shift. Yeah, there's plenty of great business people. They lost everything. All right, now gather your tears up, do your dance, shake yourself off. What did Jay-Z say? Brush your shoulders off and get ready to get back in the fight. How long you going to keep talking about what had happened? You'd be surprised how many people live their lives looking in the rearview mirror the entire time they're driving. But you don't know what happened to me, and you don't know what happened. I get it. It's time to get back up. Who doesn't have a past? Who doesn't have something they wish they hadn't done? I meet these people that, I don't have any regrets because everything got me to where I am. I'm not there. Everything got me to where I am, but I got regrets. And some things I wish I had never done. But it's there. It's done. I can't change it. You think I'm going to wallow in it my whole life? You think I'm going to sit here and be reminded of it my whole life? You think I'm going to live? I'm 35 years old. You think I'm going to live the next 35, 70 years of my life looking back on what happened 10 years ago? The devil is a lie. I can't stop you from what you might say about me, but what you say about me doesn't affect me anyway. It's what I say about me. And I decided that I'm worthy to get back up, that I'm going to work this thing until I work it and I can't work it no more. I decided that I'm going to come back. I decided I'm going to keep moving. I decided that if I get knocked down, yeah, I might cry. Yeah, I'm going to have a pity party, but I'm going to dry my tears and I'm going to get back up. Tired of people looking at people saying, well, they made it because they're smart. No, they made it because they're persistent. You got to have a level of persistence where you say, I don't care what they said about me. I'm coming back. It's something about a person that you just can't knock them down. You want to know, you need, oh my God. I wish you could have been a fly on the wall in some of the dark places of my life. How dark it looked. Everything I'm spewing out to you is what I had to tell myself in the mirror. I had to tell myself through tears. I had to tell myself in prison. I had to tell myself in solitary confinement. I had to tell myself in a psych ward. I had to tell myself when I was going through all the stuff I was going through, I will not stop here. Some of you you've gone through something and you think it's your lot in life to keep going through it your whole life. The devil is it's a hopeless spirit that's seeking to say that to you, and I've come to speak against it. You weren't born with it, and you don't have to die with it. Well, you might say, I was born with it. You probably weren't. You may have just had it for as long as you can remember. That don't mean you were born with it. I remember I went to the doctors. I don't want to get too personal, but as a doctor, something going on with my eyesight. And I remember the doctor said, I had it for as long as I can remember. He said, but you weren't born that way. I said, well, how do you know that? He said, nobody's born that way. It may have happened so young. It happened when you were 3, 4, 5 months old, so much that you have no memory of it. But he said, I'm coming here to tell you scientifically, you were not born that way. And what I'm trying to tell you is it doesn't have to last your whole life. It was an epiphany that hit me when he said that. What in your life has gone on so long that you told yourself the story that, well, you know what? It's not going to ever change. That's what that man I was talking to earlier today who said I was going to kill for those of you that's just joining, this is why I'm on here on fire, because he said last night, he said, I had said to myself, I'm going to kill myself tonight. That's what he said about last night. But I knew that I wanted to get here and have this gathering today. So I figured I'd wait till the day and then I would take the pills after this week. This is what he said. This is how the morning started when we came together. And he said the reason why he felt the way that he felt was because it was a problem he had for so long that he kind of decided it was no way that he was ever going to come out of it. What have you decided before God made the fight? Where have you put a period? Let me say it that way, that God put a comma. It's a chapter. It's a chapter of your life. It's not the whole story. Huh. The enemy wants you. Here's comeback. So I was wondering. I said, where's my dog going? The last one around. This is why I wrote this book, Come Back Swinging. It's a chapter. See, when you write a book, you write it in chapters. If you're not careful, you'll stop here in the story and you feel like the story's over. You'll stop here and it's like, oh my gosh, look at what he did. You stop here and it's like, oh, how could this happen? But if you're not careful, you will read a piece of your story and the enemy will convince you that it's the whole thing. But wait a minute, though. You've been promised victory. You've been promised to be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. That's what you've been promised. Now, you might be saying, well, Darrell, look at what my life is. I don't know what your life looks like now. I'm not talking about what you see with your natural eyes. I'm talking about what you ought to perceive with your spiritual perception. Have you not known? Did you not hear that everything that is came from something that was not? But the enemy's coming after your vision. That's what he really wants to attack. That's what hopelessness does. You don't see nothing beyond where you are. It's where you are. It's where you always be. It'll never happen. It won't change. You know, when you hear people have success, that's for them. It's because they're, whatever gender they are, whatever ethnicity they are, whatever nationality they are, or from whatever family they come from. But I want you to know something. I want you to stop giving yourself too many excuses to not win. Stop giving yourself excuses to not win. There was somebody in your city that made it, in your town, in your place, from where you are, who looks like you, of your race, of your color, of your nationality, from your country, in your community. They made it. They overcame it. They did it. They beat the odds. You can too. I'm not here to say that there's not some other stuff that you got to fight against. But what I'm saying is I've come to speak against a hopeless spirit that said just because it's there doesn't mean you can't overcome it. I'm speaking over your life that your stumbling blocks will be your stepping stones. I'm speaking over your life a new level of vigor and power and authority and might and inspiration. I'm speaking over your life a persistence. The Hebrews call it a chutzpah. You got to be able to take a licking and keep on ticking. Mike Tyson, I know he's not in the Bible, but I really wish they would have put this scripture in the Bible. Life will punch you. He says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. That's almost like a scripture. I quote that all the time. Life will punch you in the face. Life. It doesn't take a whole big. I don't care who you are. Life will hit you eventually. It may not do it at 20. It may not do it at 25. You might be 30 and skated through it. If you're 30 and you listen to me and say, well, life hasn't hit me, just save my life and come back to it when it hits you. Life will hit you. You'll have something hit you so hard, it'll shut you down and sit you in a corner and have you crying like a baby. That's what life will do. Good, moral, and all. Righteous and upright and all. You can tithe and pray and speak in tongues and be the deacon at the church. It'll still hit you. Things come out of nowhere, crises and circumstances, situations. Some is stuff that just happened because it just happened, and some is stuff because of bad decisions. Life will punch you. And then you look up and you say, well, where did the years go? And the spirit of hopelessness begins to set in. Because life didn't go the way you thought it would. See, when we were teenagers, we all had a plan for how we thought life was going to be. I know I did. And I'm going to tell you something. Life didn't go nearly like I had planned it. It wasn't as easy as I thought. You know, when you're sitting and you're critical of your parents, and damn, she make me sick, and I wish he would. Yeah, and then you got a chance to put it into practice. You realize it wasn't what I thought. That's life. It'll punch you in the face. And the power belongs to people who can get punched but get right back up. The power belongs to people that can take a licking. Remember that old commercial for Rolexes or Timex? You can take a licking and keep on ticking. That's what I came to talk to people about. I came to talk to people. You're tired of being down and out. You're tired of keep getting punched. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight where this is one thing I learned, and I don't like to fight, but I will fight. When you're in a fight, I'm talking about a fight. You got to throw some punches. This is one thing I learned. You have to learn to throw some punches. It's long enough that you cowered and the enemy has fought you and you covering your face and life is hitting you and people telling you ain't going to do it and your boss at the job is dragging you and you got all kinds of stuff going on in your life. I've come to inspire you to start fighting back. Come back swinging. It's now say I'm ready to fight back. I have a plan for a business. I'm fighting back. I have a relationship. I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to call that person today. Yeah, I want you in my life. You have to begin to get on the offensive. But hopelessness says it ain't going to work. And you just keep taking punches. And you just keep cowering. And the thing about being in a defensive posture, I'm going to tell you about a defensive posture in a fight. You never come out the winner. You never come out the winner. You may not get your jaw broke, but you never come out the winner because what happens is you keep punching, but there's no damage done to the enemy. And I believe that in this season, in this time, God is raising up an army of people that's ready to fight back against the enemy. And when I'm talking about the enemy, I don't just mean the satanic enemy in hell. I mean powers that are fighting to keep people oppressed on earth. No. I talk about that and come back swinging. No. You're not just going to keep punching me and fighting me. I got to fight back. Some of you are fighting legally. Okay, I get it. You coward, maybe you did the wrong thing. Now it's time to fight back. Find out what your rights are. Listen to me here. Find out what your rights are. Find out where there's some things that haven't been said right in the case or some exaggeration. Fight back. Start to put in some motions. Some of you are dealing with a health issue. It's time to fight back. Do some research. Get a second opinion. See what it is you can change in your lifestyle, your eating, your diet. Go talk to people. How did they overcome it? It's time to hit that thing back. It's time out for waiting for other people to, they got to give tests and I'm waiting for them to do this. See, that's what hopelessness said. Hopelessness says, I want to keep talking about hopelessness because I want you to recognize it when you see it. A hopeless spirit says, I've got to wait on everything else before I move. I got to wait on what the doctor says. I'm not saying don't listen to the doctor. That's not what I'm saying. But my fate ain't in your hands. I got to wait on what the judge says. I gotta wait on what the boss says. I gotta wait till the economy gets right, till I put out the business plan. I gotta wait till I get that relationship with the banker before I put in the request for the loan. But what faith says is, I'm gonna take the step. I'm gonna take the step. I can't keep waiting my life away while time passes me by, trying to figure out when all my ducks are gonna get in a row. I recognize my ducks may never come in a row, so I'm gonna take the step. I want you to listen to me clearly. When I finish with this live today, when you finish hearing me, when you get off this thing, I want you to take a step. Don't just shut this off, clap, and say, ooh, that was nice, and feel good and go about your day. Take a step. Fight back. That's what I'm talking about. It's time to start swinging back. Take one step today. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying do a big thing. If you have a plan for a business, I'm not saying write the whole plan out today. What I'm saying is at least pull it up on your computer and type and save in a Word document that says business plan and write out the vision statement. Start there. Start taking steps toward what God has for you. Away with this hopeless thinking that, well, he'll drop it out of the sky. You know, people always talk about Elisha and Elijah. And Elisha got the double portion, and Elijah was being taken up into the heavens, and the mantle fell, and Elisha caught it. But let me give a little bit of backstory to that. What we are told scripturally is that when Elijah asked Elisha, what should I give to you? Elisha says, I want a double portion. Elijah said, it's a hard thing. But if you are with me as I'm taken up, if you see me when I'm taken into the next dimension, you'll have it. And what we're told is that he went to one city and Elijah said, okay, go ahead and go your way. And Elijah said, I'm not going nowhere. I'm sticking with you. And then he went to another city and Elijah said, go your way, Elisha, because I've got business to do here. And Elijah said, I'm not going nowhere. I'm sticking with you. And then a third time, he went to a third city and he told Elijah, he said, go your way because I got something I got to do here. And Elijah said, I don't know how many times I got to tell you where you go, I go. It's a persistent spirit. It's a spirit that says the mantle fell out of heaven, but it fell out of heaven, but he was there to catch it. Where have you asked for a blessing, but you're not even there to receive it? It's a hopeless spirit, though, that says I can stay in my bed and I can lay here, and if God wants it to be done, it's just going to happen, and it's going to miraculously occur in my life, and I've done nothing, and moved nothing, and changed nothing, and built nothing, and the devil is a liar. I want to jig you out of that. That now is the time for you to begin to fight back and to begin to put some things into plan. You got to have an Elisha spirit. Tell people no. He told his mentor no. I need you to understand. This is what happened. He told Elijah, I'm not going nowhere. You go to the bathroom, guess what? I'm right outside the door. Because he said, I'll put a claim on you. That's really what Elisha was saying. I left everything for you. I left family. I left friends. I left dreams. I left everything to follow you because I knew in you, it was something in you that God had for me. And so you can tell me to leave, but you can't shake me because I'm going to be right where you are. You got to have that type of Elisha persistence. That even though people are telling you, well, you know, the business ain't going to work. Yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But can you still put the loan application in? I've talked to people, I've either been at the bank or I've been dealing with people, you know, it may be like the administrative assistant and they got a little 2 cents. Well, you know, this usually don't work. And I'm sitting there smiling, yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead and put that in though, baby girl, because I didn't ask for your opinion. See, some of you have allowed the opinions of man to deter you from the calling of God. I don't care what you have to say. I'm still moving. You know how many people told me no? How many people still telling me no? No this and no that. If I stopped after no's, I would have never gotten anywhere. But some of you have so personalized the no. And you thought because they said no, that somehow the no came from heaven and not out of earth. Okay, that's their opinion. That's one person, that's 2 people, that's 3 people. Maybe a bunch of people said no. I don't care. But I'm not moved by your no. I still am going in the direction that I'm going in. That's persistence. I was reading the story the other day of Jeff Bezos. And his mom said, please don't quit the good job that you had to go selling books. Because when he started the company, you know, Amazon started selling books. And his mother said she thought it was a bad idea. Who does that? I mean, you know, he wasn't a millionaire, but he was making nice money, you know, several $100,000 a year, especially back 20, 30 years ago. Who quits that to go sell secondhand books? And his mom was trying to advise him in a nice way. You kind of need to give that up. I was not long ago, I was watching Tyler Perry talk about how he had done so many plays and they kept failing and he kept quitting jobs and spending all the money he had from the jobs and put in the plays, and the plays, nobody would come to the plays. And his mom too came. Mom loved him. Mom came to him and said, I think you need to give this thing up. And he said, when he looked behind, she looked behind him and saw how he just started crying so hard. She said, I'm so sorry I said that, because she didn't realize how much it meant to him. But he made the point. See, sometimes God gives you a dream and other people don't see it. Stop listening to other people's no, and God didn't give them the dream. I love you, mama. But my life is bigger than what you say about me. I love my papa, but my life is bigger. And I love my pastor. I love my teacher, all of that stuff. But my life is bigger than that. Doesn't mean we don't listen. We don't seek advisement. That's actually smart to do it. Listen to why people might think it can fail, because maybe you could tweak it. But I cannot be jigged off the course of what God put on inside of me because you don't see it. There's a lot of stuff you don't see. Most great businesses, people didn't see before it was done. How many countries are there that have sprouted out of nowhere? Nobody saw it till it was a revolution. But God is calling you in this moment to action. And I've come to remind you that you can act. Right where you are. Do what you can with what you have. Well, Darrell, you don't understand. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not talking about money. You got something. You don't understand, Darrell. I'm working 2 jobs. That's all the more reason to jump on the business that you have. You don't understand. I got 3 kids. That's all the more reason, so you can give something to them. So that way you can break this cycle of poverty where every generation has to start again. And every generation is just as broke as the generation before. That's all. Every reason that you can possibly give me for why you didn't get started, or why you haven't gotten started, or why you stopped, I can guarantee you I'll flip it as to a reason for why you ought to be more urgent to do it. And if you doubt that I can do it, inbox me a reason. And I promise you, I'll inbox you right back. That's all the more reason why. And now is your season. Like I said, I came to talk today because I'm tired of the enemy dragging the life out of people. I'm tired of the enemy having his way with people, and people just, it just bothers me how many people have given up on life. 25 and hopeless. It's a demonic spirit. 30 and you gave up. You're 30. What do you mean you gave up? You're 40 and life is over. What are you talking about? You know how many great people and great things and didn't even get started till they were 45. But it's a hopeless spirit. That if it hadn't happened in 2 years, it's not going to happen. It's a spirit that says, well, if that person says no. It's a spirit that also has you believing that somebody has the key to your success. Let me speak to that for a second. Nobody has the key to your success but God. I had to remind myself of that. You don't have the key to my success. No, you don't. We're not even about to play that. I had somebody tell me the other day, I can open up a lot of doors for you. I said, yeah, I believe that. And I can tell you who can open up more doors. And I wanted to be respectful how I said it. I want you to understand that. Stop. See, that's a hopeless spirit that leads you to believe that somehow man can so alter your course on earth that God can't change it from heaven. No. That's part of that hopeless spirit. I don't have to play politics and kissy with you to get what God has for me. I'm not about to do that. Where have you settled? It's a personal question. Y'all got me over here sweating. Where have you settled? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Don't be so quick to turn me off and say, well, I really haven't settled. Where have you settled? What did you believe you can be when you were 7 years old? Remember when you believed you could change the world at 8? Remember when you had that spark in your eyes? Remember when you believed that dreams really could come true? Remember when you believed in magic? I want to take you back to that time. That magical place. People always talk about this castle that's behind me. This castle is Neuschwanstein. It is a castle in southern Germany, Bavaria, and it is the inspiration for where Disney got his castle. When did you believe in the stuff that Disney talks about, that magic could happen? When did you believe that? I need you to go back to that place. Who were you before the opinions of everybody else flooded in? parents said and teachers said and what grandmama said and pastor said and what the church said and what folks over there said and the neighborhood said and peers said and bullies said and all of these people that have their opinions in your life. And now you look up and it's hard for you to even remember when you were that person where you believed I could change the world. That's where I want to get you back to. When did you stop believing that you could move and shape the world? When did you stop believing you were special? I know you say it. I know you say it. We all say, I'm special, I'm gifted, I'm unique. Yeah. Most of us don't believe it. We don't believe it. And you know how I know it? I didn't really start understanding that truly until I started about 2 years ago doing professional coaching and helping people with their careers. You'd be surprised how many people when I was saying, tell me what makes you different. How are you going to talk to the employees? Well, I really don't have much. How many people really don't believe and they go through life, and even though we were talking professionally, they go through life really not believing truly and honestly, I have something that nobody else in this world has. Don't you understand it? You got something. You say, Darrell, well, you don't know me. I don't know you. But what I do know is I know the creator of you. And I know that there is nothing that he created that he did not have a purpose for. That's what I do know. You might be wasteful, and I know I've been wasteful at times, but he ain't wasteful. He's intentional. You wonder why it is that I've always had this dream, why it is I've always been grieved by this problem. And by the way, what you agree by, you've been called to solve, but I'm not even going to touch that now. You wonder why it is you've always had a soft spot for these types of people. You wonder why it is when everybody else walks by that poster, you keep looking at it and you have a dream in your mind. It's because God said, I've called you for this season. And I get it, you've numbed the call with drugs and with alcohol and with sex and with all the other stuff that we like to numb ourselves with, relationships, and you jump from bed to bed and person to person. I get all that, but now it's time to come back to the place of saying, I'm ready to live again. I don't want to just exist. I had a conversation with God and I said, look, if it's just about me breathing from moment to moment, you might as well take me up now to the third heaven, second heaven, fourth heaven. I don't know which heaven it is because I don't know how people do. I have to believe that there's something bigger for me. I have to be pushing towards something more. And that's what I've been called to do. To be that voice in your ear to say, it ain't over. Oh, no, it's not. I know what the devil's saying, but he's a liar. That's all he can do. All he can do is lie. He's jealous of your relationship with God. He's jealous of what you have that he don't. He's jealous that God thinks about you and he's been doomed for all eternity of damnation. He's jealous that you've been called with destiny and purpose. He's jealous of the love that the creator of the universe has for you. So of course he's going to lie. So we're not even going to spend our time talking about what he's talking about. But all of that stuff that has weighed you down and it has crushed you, and the years have gone, and the years, and for some of you it's been decades, and you look and you don't even recognize yourself in the mirror anymore. And you secretly, I know you won't admit it, but let me talk real. You secretly don't like to hear when other people talk about their dreams because it reminds you of when you still have them. You feel a little tinge of excitement when you hear that somebody else's thing failed because it makes you feel comfortable in yourself. See, that it was okay that it happened to me. I know we don't like to say we do because nobody wants to admit I'm a hater. And I don't know if that's so much as a hater characteristic. But when you when you gave up on your dreams, it bothers you when you're around other people that start talking about theirs. It makes you want to say things like, well, that don't always happen like that. And I don't know if that can happen for you. When you find yourself start saying stuff like that, then you got to check yourself about what is it in me that died that is bothering me when somebody else talks about hope. See, hope will build you up, but hope will also expose in you what died. And I want to bring you to the place where you believe again.